Hi, welcome to Mercurius Being. I am Amy Jensen and I'm here with your astro update for the Taurus new moon. And this new moon will happen on May 19th, Friday, May 19th, here in the Central Time Zone at 10:53 a.m. Here is the chart. And depending on where you are, the arrangement and houses will be different. So just knowing that. But you can see right off the top, we have a nice big stellium of planets in Taurus at this time. We've got Jupiter at 0 degrees Taurus, 40 minutes, and all the way to the sun and moon conjunct at 28 degrees Taurus, 25 minutes. So Jupiter entered Taurus at on just a couple days before this lunation. I have May 16th in my calculations for where I am. And Jupiter is in each sign approximately 1 year. So it's a really easy one for you to go back and clock maybe what was going on. So go back in your life 12 years approximately when Jupiter was in Taurus, see what was going on, see what was important to you, what was heightened or highlighted, because Jupiter is this big expansive planet and it highlights and expands everything it touches. So go back 12 years, go back 24 years, go back, so 12 years ago, of course, 2011, I'm doing the math for you. 12 years before that, 1999, 12 years before that, 1987, 12 years before that, 1975, and 12 years before that, 63, if you were around. So, and you can go back beyond that. So, do you have any planets in Taurus, the fixed signs, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius? These energies with all of these planets in Taurus, of course, so if you have planets in Taurus, they're getting highlighted directly by this. Planets in Scorpio, Aquarius, nope, I'm flipping around. Planets in Scorpio, they're opposed by all of this Taurus energy, so activating the polarity between those two. And then if you have a lot of planets or any placements, planets in Leo and Aquarius, those two are getting squared by this Taurus energy. And so squared, heightened, conflicted, just there's a lot of energy pushing towards that change within or activating those planets. Okay. Energized, broadened, freed, exacerbated. Now I'm flipping back to Jupiter in Taurus. Broadened, having the ability to have a bigger vision of something. Look to the house area in your chart where this lunation is happening with all those planets. So those house area matters will be heightened or highlighted, give you insight into it because there is so much energy coming into this. May 17th, so Jupiter goes into Taurus, 0 degrees Taurus on May 16th. On May 17th, Jupiter squares Pluto, which is at 0 degrees Aquarius retrograde. Just went retrograde on May 1st. And also Jupiter coming into 0 degrees Taurus, highlighting the eclipse on April 19th, which was at 29 degrees Aries. I believe it was 29 degrees Aries, 50 minutes, but very close, 29 degrees, something super close to being 0 degrees Taurus. So this lunation, besides being all of these planets in Taurus, that 0 degrees Taurus highlights the April 19th eclipse, and eclipses stay active for 6 months. And so bringing up any of that latent energy. So I don't know if that April 19th eclipse hit you or the May 5th eclipse, lunar eclipse in Scorpio hit you. But even if it didn't, look back on the 19th and around there, see what was highlighted, see if you have more insights. And again, this point might be lingering. And especially if you have any planets which are square conjunct opposed that point, again, it's just kind of like a pinball game, you know, something gets hit and they all light up. So Jupiter and Pluto together squaring, having a conflict, it's a 90-degree angle. You know, control, because Jupiter's expanding, you know, Pluto is digging down deep and going into the underlying machinations and manipulations of a situation. So control, power struggles, crises, strength, energy, motivation. It's a good time to check these ideas of manipulation, check any energies of jealousy within you or that which you are receiving, energies of domination, again, power, control, underlying motives. Check habits, because Pluto has a lot to do with kind of habitual obsessive traits and qualities. So the Jupiter expansiveness could give you the insight of seeing what you're really overdoing, what habits don't serve you any longer. And really, again, this idea of relationships that no longer operate or work. I really think that was highlighted by the May 5th eclipse, personally. Excuse me. Apparently my throat thinks so as well. But again, just getting really more insight into why they don't work and what the power struggles, just the motivations within relationships and those dynamics. So you can really see them more clearly. Before, maybe it was a gut feeling. That's where I'm going with that. Maybe before on the prior eclipse, the May 5th eclipse, it was more of a gut feeling like, oh, this doesn't work. But now you're maybe getting the opportunity that it's laid out more clearly with Jupiter square Pluto, why it doesn't. And maybe you're able to put words to it and articulate it better. And you can see through it. You can see behind better. You can see, again, the underlying motivation any power plays or the structure of power, whether it's, you know, interrelational or collective, worldwide, how the world works, how systems work and how they don't work. Okay. Pluto squared Jupiter, heightened desires for prominence or money or power. Just collectively, we'll be able to see this. Pluto is, you know, again, starting this transit through Aquarius, and it hasn't dipped back into Capricorn, but already, again, we're still seeing, you know, more highlight on corruption and misuse of power. This is going to be with this Jupiter in Taurus, a really big check to this big energy, institutionally, collectively, governmentally. Earthquakes, Taurus rules Earth. Jupiter is expanding, squaring Aquarius, and which breaks things up, removes stagnation, brings instability. And Pluto, of course, transforming, transmuting, blowing up, powerful, combustibility, desire, really laying bare desires and motivations, okay? So these planets take place in the areas. So Jupiter is in the area of the heavens. So I'm going to flip into the nakshatras, so the sidereal placement of the planets, even though this is a tropical reading, and that's what I do the tropical work, but I really like looking into the energy of the Vedic description of these energies. So Jupiter is in the area of Ashwini Kumara, the twin horse gods of health. And it has a lot to do with Aries. So in the Vedic or the sidereal energy, Jupiter is in 6 degrees Aries. We won't confuse all of that, but it's in this area of the heavens ruled by the celestial healers. The head of a horse is the symbol. And every time I read that, I always think, this is like really big sidebar. I just think back to The Godfather and that shocking scene, and I haven't figured out any correlation, but I haven't thought about the correlation, but literally every time I bring this up. So I'm just going to throw that up. But Godfather's mob, Pluto. Okay, but let's go into the Vedic meaning of this, or symbolic associations of this. So if this deals with new birth, new life, freshness of approach, and a start of a new cycle. And this is from Camilla Sutton. Ashvini indicates the beginning of the soul's journey into the earthly life. So there is that Fool energy of the tarot, that beginning, but also the Fool indicating the end, knowing it all and continuing back anyway. So again, indicating that soul's journey. And indicating, so Ketu, the south node, is the ruler of this, and it is the significator for moksha or liberation, ruling the beginning of life, showing the true reason of our manifestation on earth is to find moksha or liberation, and finally being released from the cycles of death and life and rebirth. So this is the stage where the mind is pure and we have not yet entangled ourselves into knots, which represent the attachments to life. So the sun, the significator of our soul and our inner consciousness, is exalted in this area. Ketu acts like Mars, but on a psychological level. So the purity of Martian action, courage, and protection of humanity is powerfully indicated. The past life connection is very strong, especially, okay, that's more about natal astrology. So the Ashvini Kumaras, the twin healers, are the celestial physicians who have great healing powers. It's just a lot about creative power in its latency, but the reason for taking form and being alive is to work out these karmas and then to be led to liberation, to lead oneself to liberation. And so that's where Jupiter is. Jupiter's expanding and coming into this Jupiterian energy of expansion, optimism, big picture, seeing it all, and really Jupiter, the planet of moksha and liberation, squaring Pluto in Aquarius in the Vedic nakshatra of Uttarashada. And this is a combined area of the heavens ruled by Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter earlier degrees teaching through wisdom, and this is 6 degrees Capricorn in the sidereal chart. Jupiter teaching wisdom through knowledge, while Saturn teaches knowledge through experience of life. So they both guide us, one by expanding our intellectual horizons. This is, again, Camilla Sutton. And the other by bringing about restrictions, Saturn, which lead ultimately to self-knowledge. So the symbol of this area is the planks of the bed, but it's an austere bed, not one of comfort. So it's used to relax, like a yogic sleep, but to go deeper into consciousness, relax the body so that the mind can move further along its path to enlightenment. This area is ruled by the Vishvadevas, and they guide us towards social interaction, but the inner self has to be detached. The responsibility of our past karmas have to be completed before we can move on to the final level of manifestation. So again, this energy of, which I know I talked about in the last video, of death and rebirth, but like coming into new life, but with the eye on the prize of growth and working through the experiences, working with the karma, and feeling. I'll come back to this, but feeling it. Because we need, and that thus the Taurus, we need to feel, coming back to the tropical, we need to feel this and embody this, because that's why we come here, to not to intellectually experience it, but to embody the cells. Again, the cells, the body keeps the score, all of that work with trauma, and feeling it and resolving it. Okay, because there's no way through that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have come here, right? We would have stayed wherever one believes we stayed, and we stay, or we come from, and neutralo, right? But we come here to feel and to heal. Okay, so the area of the sun and moon in the nakshatra, or the area of the heavens, we'll leave it at that, is Kritika, or the cutter, the divider. So this from DiCara, the star Kritika is a careful tool. So obviously there's a cutting, there's a dividing, but it's a surgical. So careful tool of precise subdivision. It's a star of insight and incisiveness, disassembling of complex things, and detailed comprehension. It's ruled by Agni, the god of fire and digestion. It's bright and hot. So it's not good for anything requiring tenderness, not good for analysis, but good, for analysis, rapid and accurate assessment. It's good for digestion of ideas and concepts and critical thinking, probably a source of that word, the ability to cut through problems and confusions. So this is the area of the heavens where the sun and the moon are, okay? I'll see if I have any other notes from Camilla Sutton. There's a need to guide this energy of cutting and dividing. So being careful with it, adding the Venusian qualities of, you wouldn't cut or divide if you feel it in your body. So thinking of anything you cut and divide, you would be something that, how would it feel if it was done to you? So maybe just adding that layer, but there is this great ability to see through. So we've already expanded these problems with Jupiter square Pluto, right? We see it. We see the underlying motive with Pluto in Aquarius. We see this on a big level. And then the sun and moon and Jupiter being in Taurus. Like, okay, how does this land with you in your body? So we'll bring it back to that. Pluto is on the cutting edge of this chart, bowl pattern. It's moving into the empty area. So it's kind of sweeping into, and Mars is at the trailing edge of this. Mars is at 29 degrees Cancer, 26 minutes. So this is the last degree, an anaretic degree or a fate degree. And Mars transits through a sign every 6 weeks. So it's not, anything, huge, let's say, when it moves into another sign. But at this lunation, and being the trailing edge of the bowl pattern, it has this energy of ending, of wrapping things up, of the energy of anticipation, the eve of turning into a new sign, a final note or chord. I was thinking about that. So, when you hit this new moon, which is a beginning, but then, Mars being at this final note. So there's a new beginning just around the corner. It's turning into Gemini. So what would you say maybe the last final chord would be of the last 6 weeks? Would it be a major chord, minor chord? Would it be, or a note? Would it be one of, anyway, so just kind of go into that musical picture with that. So the Mars at the end of the pattern, like a sweep up position, a clean up position, wrap up position, and then preparing to take the lessons of the last 6 weeks into Gemini, into the next 6 weeks, okay? At this new moon and at new moons, of course, we're seeding and planting and, intention, sending your intention for this Taurus energy. Pluto being at the leading edge and retrograde starting May 1st. So even looking back to May 1st, what shifted since then? Good indicator of, where the energy is going. So just opening the day of that lunation with this energy of coming in. And of course, as we said, it has recently newly moved into Aquarius in March. How it colors the sky and the energy of transformation, reformation, fresh ionized air, but kind of like a big whoosh of air. I got this idea of like a cosmic leaf blower instead of a gentle breeze. And then you can see, okay, and I was thinking, of course, uncovering from the snow here in Minnesota. So, once that whoosh of the cosmic leaf blower flows through, you really get to see what's underneath. You get to see how maybe crappy the landscape looks, the landscaping around one's house, the landscape fabric kind of peeking through, or areas where you need to remulch, plants that have died, things that need to be trimmed back, what needs to be regenerated. Okay, so we're getting a really clear view of that. And then with all this Taurus energy and new growth and new moon energy, it's like we're really energized now to do something about it. And be something about it, more importantly. Okay, I want to emphasize the being rather than the doing. Okay, so we still, okay, and in the chart, so Pluto's kind of, Neptune, or Mars is playing sweep up, clean up, and so Pluto's swooshing in. We have the planets in Pisces, kind of adding this spiritual energy, the Chiron in Aries, and then like da-dunk, we hit this Taurus stellium, okay? So revisiting the April 19th eclipse energy, revisiting themes, that Jupiter again, newly in Taurus, punctuating the end and the beginning idea, end of Aries, beginning of Taurus, new moon in Aries. At that time of the eclipse, remember it was the two new moons, the blue moon, and then we had the Scorpio lunar eclipse, full moon, as a response to that Aries new moon. But now we have the Taurus new moon as the theme of polarity to the already happened heightened polarity of the Scorpio full moon is now being like resolved or echoed or come into, embodied again of that Taurus energy. And this new moon is at 28 degrees Taurus, 25 minutes. So it's near an end of a degree. So it's just that energetic layer or level of end and beginning. New moon in Taurus, but towards the end of the sign. And how is that differing from the squirrely energy of having a new moon really close to the beginning of the sun's ingress? So again, the end of old patterns, old triggers, karma, good opportunity to wrap up that little karmic package and send it on its way. And behavior, it's an opportunity for beginning of new patterns based on feeling embodied. Calmed down, slow, deep breathing, being safe in your body. And what resources are necessary for you to feel safe within the body. At this time, we do have this stellium with 0 degrees Jupiter, North Node, 2 degrees, Uranus, 18, I'm reading backwards, Mercury, 6, Uranus, 19, Moon, Sun, 28. So the midpoint of this whole configuration is between Mercury and Uranus. And Mercury is direct. It's not done with a whole retrograde cycle. That won't be until max morning elongation later in the month here. And it's still trying to catch up to the sun in speed and degree. So don't rush off and try to put things back to normal. That's not the point of the Mercury retrograde. The point is to really savor the RE part of it, the redoing, the reviewing, the retrograde aspects, the renewal as well, taking the time to feel into the heart, Taurus, and what the heart and body are telling you, okay? So Taurus ruling the heart center, or half the heart center, along with Libra, but physiologically ruling the throat. So we have the midpoint around 14 degrees Taurus, which was pretty close to the degree of the Scorpio full moon eclipse of the 5th. So giving this idea of hammering home the need of being in the body in Taurus to heal that past Scorpio karma, fear, the shadow, the unacknowledged basement parts of oneself. And I really think, obviously, this is a collective thing with the fixed signs. And those who have a lot of fixed signs in their chart and are healing a lot of past trauma and allowing themselves to feel this in the body, really holding the energy of the collective as we move into this Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And it's not just again, whether it's the sun, moon, any placement, and it's not exclusive to that, but perhaps feeling that more acutely. And I'm thinking then as Pluto moves through each sign, 20 years or so collectively, the sign of that axis, really holding the energy to help facilitate the movement into that sign. So that Pluto, Scorpio, full moon, looking at that past or present trigger or triggers, traumas, wounds, vulnerability, victimhood, being used, feeling powerless, anything that goes into that Scorpio shadow, transforming the shadow through deep, abiding acceptance of all that there is in this world. The whole spectrum of shades and experience, and knowing it is there and not fearing it. We have all in this lifetime or another lifetime chosen karmically, deeply scorpionic experiences by allowing oneself to come back into the safety and stability of the Taurus energy of stability and stabilizing. You are readying yourself, recharting your course with the dial set to your coordinates, not the coordinates imposed upon you, not the coordinates you feel other people would like you to chart by. In the age of Aquarius, which we already are in, probably since the Wright brothers-ish, maybe, who knows? No one quite knows. But that does place Aquarius at the ascendant, so that places Scorpio at the midheaven and Taurus at the low heaven, shall we say, the psychological root of the cosmic chart. Psychological well-being, one's home, and being at home in your heart. So don't take your mantras and inspiration from other people. Find your heart song, your individual heart song. Listen to your heart's desire and tune into what your body needs and what your body is telling you. You need your physical body and you need to be grounded in it, especially with the electrics of that Aquarius opening and Aquarius operating system that we're coming into collectively, more profoundly with that Pluto ingress. And also with Pluto at the midheaven and shadowing the overlying structures, they will be of a scorpionic nature. I mean, they are already, this is what they are. Okay, so what is behind what we see is what is ruling, the collective. Okay, so the Aquarius energy, that electricity needs to be grounded. So again, you need to be in your body so that you can understand and feel the manipulation and discern for yourself. The electricity needs to be grounded, and you need to wire your own circuitry. And don't be operating using someone else's operating system. And there is already a lot of group mind, and there will be more group mind, right? You need to have your own mind, which is tuned into the bullshit meter of your heart. And I kind of love bullshit as far as Taurus goes. Like, they are a no bullshit sign. So they are a fully bull and no bullshit sign. Okay, so let yourself get into that. Like, yeah, that is just BS. Okay? With Mercury and Uranus in Taurus at the midpoint of this stellium, at this new moon, pretty much being that midpoint energy, and Taurus indicative of mind in body, mind embodied, the mind in the heart. a higher personal intelligence that is only personally quantifiable. It brings me joy. Okay, these are mantras. Okay, and don't take this, don't take anyone, find your own mantra, but like, what does this do? It brings me joy. It fills me with love. It grounds me. It rejuvenates me. It regenerates me. So what mind, body thing is your mantra, right? Yours. Not from a song title unless it's super positive and feels really good. Just find your own, okay? Go out barefoot, if you can, in the grass, to ground yourself, to physically have your body electrics touch the earth. Walk with love and gentleness. Have tactile experiences. Nourishing and beautiful food. Flowers and melody. Hum, sing. Experience the breath moving into and out of the body. Take your time. Be the bull. Graze. And don't budge. Feel your mass, your gravitational pull, and the power that's within your body being embodied. You know how that feels when one feels ungrounded and vata, very airy, but when you come back into the body, feel the bones, the muscles. It's like the presence that you have within you. Relish each step. Feel again how grounded you are. Feel the weight of your body shift if you dance and move. Notice the shifting of weight and swaying in the body. Feel the rhythm of it. And again, how you breathe into every movement, every grounded shift and step. This is your dance, my friends. This is the dance of your life. And this dance is done to the melody of your heart. And it's fueled by the joy of your being. So don't deprive yourself of this time and this opportunity of your being. Everyone has their own dance. Everyone has their own being. You don't have to dance for them. You don't have to be for them. And then if you think of it this way, you're really depriving them of the opportunity to be and dance for themselves. So letting go of any of those patterns. Okay, those imbalances. And let yourself be and enjoy your dance of life. Until next time, namaste.